So hello students and welcome back again to Mehta PG College online study portal. This is the lecture 4th of our series recorded for BSc first year physics, paper 2nd electromagnetism, and for the unit 1st chapter 2nd. And as per my language, this is a lecture given preference to the English medium students. So before starting the video, I just politely request you to all the viewers that if you are new here, then please consider to subscribing our channel and press the bell icon so that you will never miss another update. And if you want to learn such kind of videos in your future reference, then gives us a thumbs up so that appreciating us, and then we will try to provide you more and more exclusive content for your learning. And thank you for all your love and support. So let's begin with the topic here. And within this lecture 4th, before all these lectures, we have discussed for the lecture first, for the very first lecture, we gave you an introduction. I just talked about the introduction to the electric field of moving charges and the concept of potential. And we also calculated potential for various point representation, saying the potential for a single charge, potential for a system of charges, and so on. And within the second lecture, we have discussed some sort of numerical advantages for the calculation of potential. And for the third lecture, it has been recorded about just before this lecture, and within that lecture, we considered an electric dipole, and for that dipole, we calculated potential and the electric field intensity. And now we will get that dipole in a uniform electric field, and let's find out what happens to that electric dipole. Okay, so let's begin with the topic here, saying that this is basically interaction of electric dipole with a uniform, with external uniform and non-uniform electric field. With external uniform and non-uniform electric field. Well, this is simply the interaction, and within this interaction we will consider some basics, saying that okay, so before going deep into the concepts, let me begin with some examples so that we can relate this phenomena to our daily routine or in our daily life. If you consider that you are going in a particular direction, that you are going towards any direction, saying that you are coming from your home to college, and saying that you are going eastward, or sense in you are going westward in your sense. Let's take an example that if I am standing here and I am moving in this particular direction, saying according to me this is the eastward direction. So let's say I am moving this direction and air is flowing in this way. Yes, the air is flowing in this way. So what will happen to me? I will experience a push backward. Yes, it's something like a push backward. So it's something makes my speed slower, that if I am riding a cycle, then you can feel this thing pretty much more than you are walking or you are going within the bike. It is pretty much lower to experience there. But if you are moving along, or if you are riding a bicycle, then you experience these things more likely to yourself. Okay, so same thing will happen here. Let's say this is the direction of electric field. Okay, well, this is the direction of electric field. It means the electric field is flowing in this particular direction. So the force will be taken in that same direction also. These are the direction of electric field, saying this is the direction. These arrows here, these arrows, these are the parallel lines, because you know the property of electric field lines or the magnetic field lines, they have a similar property for each of them, that they will never intersect each other. Yes, this is the basic property of electric field lines, that they will go either parallel or they will follow some sort of axial or some curved paths, but they will never intersect each other. So this is the property of electric field lines. So we followed this here. These parallel lines shows the electric field, and let's say we put a dipole within this electric field. Let's say this is a dipole, saying this is the dipole AB here. Okay, this is the dipole. Let's say at point P the charge you say is plus Q charge is here, and let's say minus Q charge is here. So if any charge is here, then there must be some acting of force here, some force must exist here. Let's say this is the Coulomb's force, because if there is electric field and there is any sort some kind of charge there, then the force exists. That is the Coulomb force for reference. Let's say the force exists is the Coulomb force. Let's say this is denoted by F, and you remember that F is basically equals to QE. So let's use the same phenomena here, using the phenomena of Coulomb force within this example. This is the plus Q direction, so let's say this is the direction of force here. Yes, this is the direction of force, saying let's say this is FB here, and this is as the direction. It should be said that plus Q E is the force at point B here. Also, if this electric field is flowing in this direction, then there must exist some force on the minus Q charge also. So let's say at minus Q charge, the force acting in this direction, because if both the charges are equal in magnitude but opposite in nature, so the force exists must have a opposite direction. Yes, there must be an opposite direction for the forces. Let's say the force here is FA, and that must be represented saying minus Q E. Yes, that should be the value of force here. Okay, so this is it. Well, so now if you are said to calculate the total force here, so what should be the amount of total force here? Well, one thing is to consider here, not the Coulomb force. Coulomb force is not to consider any longer. Yes. Well, this electric field E, as you can see, these show the parallel lines, and the magnitude should be same at every line. So this electric field E is uniform. Well, this color doesn't match to my requirements, so I think we should say that this electric field E is uniform. So this dipole AB is placed in a uniform electric field. So let's find out what will happen to the dipole when it is placed in an uniform electric field. So let's find out. So the total value of force, total amount of force acting on the dipole, acting on the dipole. So the total amount of force, let's say this is F here. Let's say the total force is F, and it will be equals to saying FA plus FB. Force at both the point charges. So at FA it is minus Q E, and this is the plus Q E. So the resultant will be 0 here. So it means that there is no Coulomb force exists for this configuration. But every time when you are inside a field, and if any charge is inside a field, then there must exist some sort of force. So the force should be there. It cannot be 0. Yes, Coulomb force can be 0, but there must exist some sort of force. So let's find out. We are supposed to find out the force which exists for this particular value. Okay. So what should be the force here? Let's say this is it. This is equals to 0. So the Coulombic force is equals to 0. Let's write it here. This is the Coulombic force is equals to 0. Keep it in mind. We will further use this result if it is required. I am not sure that if it is will be used again. Okay. So let's say these are the electric field lines and this is the dipole. Let's say this dipole is making an angle theta with respect to the line of action of the forces. Yes, this is the line of action. Yes, this is the line of action of force. Yes, these two lines, this one for the point A, this line and this one line, these two lines are said to be the line of action of force. Okay, so these two are the lines of action, sorry, yes, these two are the lines of action. So this dipole, let's say this dipole is making an angle theta with respect to the line of action of the force, and also imagine that this dipole has a length d for reference. Okay, this dipole has a length d here, and if we join the perpendicular distance, yes, this is the perpendicular distance between the opposite lines of action of the force. Yes, let's say this meet at a point C here. Okay, this is the point C here. So what should be this perpendicular distance? Okay, this is d here, so we will use little trigonometry for the triangle ABC. You know, this is the perpendicular distance, so you can say that this angle is the right angle here. So in the right angle triangle, in right angled triangle ABC, you will find out this particular value here is let's say this is BC over AB. This is the perpendicular here and this is the hypotenuse. So perpendicular upon hypotenuse will lead you to have a value saying which is the sine of theta here. Well, BC is as same, and AB, this is the AB sine of theta, and AB is equals to D. So you can say this is the D sine of theta. So this value, this is the perpendicular distance you see is the D sine of theta by now. Okay, so we got the perpendicular distance between the lines of action of the force. Okay, so these are the perpendicular distance here. So now we will use this perpendicular. Well, we have no use of this equation here because this is something that is understood yourself. You are supposed to be known of these literal calculation because you are a student of BSc first year mathematics by now. This is it. So this is the d sine of theta is the perpendicular distance between the lines of action of the force. So let's say by now another force is acting here which is try to rotate its length here, this particular dipole here. One force is acting in this direction, another force is acting in that direction. If you say that this particular point which is the midpoint in sort of example, let's assume that, okay, this is not to be a topic or a point to be concerned here, but this is only our assumption. Let's say this is the point O, and if one force is acting in this way and another force is acting in that way, okay, one force is acting in this way and another force is acting in that way. So what will happen? Let's say this marker is behaving as the dipole here, this is the dipole here, and let's say this marker is behaving as a dipole. So what if I am pulling this end from this side and pulling this lower end to this side? What will happen? It will rotate. Yes, it will rotate. So some work is being done here. So the work is done in some sense of force because the work is done only if there exists any force. So what kind of force exists here? The rotational force exists here, not the Coulomb force, not the linear force, any kind of that, but only the rotational force exists here. So what should be the value of rotational force here? Yes, the moment of this couple. Yes, this is the coupling force here. One is that side, that one is at this side. So the moment of couple or the rotational force let's say the rotational force is given a name saying that is the torque. Well, torque is not a new thing to you because you have studied the torque in the electrostatics first chapter of 12th, your first chapter. This is the very first chapter and the very last topic of electrostatics for your 12th examination if you have studied well, and if you got passed in your sense, then there is no meaning here. So the torque is represented by a symbol tau. Yes, it is represented by a symbol tau here, and this is again a vector quantity because every time you consider force, then you must consider a direction with it. Okay, force is always a vector quantity, so that's why torque is also a vector quantity, and that value must be equals to magnitude of one of the forces cross perpendicular distance between the lines of action force. Yes, a magnitude of one of the forces. Magnitude of one of the forces into perpendicular distance between the lines of action of the forces. We have two lines of action saying this is one for the point B and another one for the point A there. So the magnitude you say is equals to the QE, for your reference, that is the QE there, and cross BC. Well, we are not talking about the vector form here, because let's consider this is the magnitude form, and then another after some time when we get our result there, then we will talk about its vector form. Okay, so let's calculate here. This is QE cross BC. Okay, this is BC here, and this BC is the perpendicular distance between the lines of action of the force. This is the BC here. Okay, so what we will put all the values here. Let's say this is the QE into what is the value of BC? You see that this is the d sine of theta. So let's say I should write here, which is the d sine of theta here. Okay, and this is again equals to QE d sine of theta, simple. Let's say E is here, E Q D sine of theta. And one thing, why do I write Q and D together? Just because the Q and D will form a thing named as the dipole moment. Okay, so the Q and D comes together and will form a dipole moment here. And for the dipole moment, we represent this torque, tau. This torque, tau is equals to EP sine of theta. Well, this is the scalar or the magnitude form of the total rotating force acting on the dipole within a uniform electric field in the scalar form, or in a magnitude form you can say. This is the scalar or the magnitude form. Well, scalar form doesn't suits well, but the magnitude form suits well. Okay, this is the magnitude form in sense. Magnitude form of torque. So let's discuss the vector form of torque. So what should be the vector form here? Vector form of torque. The vector form saying this is the tau vector, and sine theta, always sine theta represents what? Sine theta represents a vector multiplication, and every time when you go for a vector multiplication, you will end up having a cross product, not a dot product, because dot product has an extension of cosine of theta and the cross product has an extension of sine of theta. Okay, so let's find out the extension here. This is saying E vector cross P vector. I don't think so that if it is going very much low for you. Yes, this is the E vector cross P vector. This is the final result which you are subjected to come up with, and I hope that this is easy to calculate for you, and this is not so difficult at all, because I know that this is not so difficult at all, and it has a unit saying the Newton meter. Yes, this is the unit here. If you mention the unit, then you will got an advantage, saying that the examiner some sort of saying got some happiness there. You can think that the student is known of something, and even it been teased by the student is been taught by a good teacher. Okay, so it has some two reference for you and for me, for both. Okay, so this is the final answer, but we have to consider some two cases here. The cases for which the dipole, when will the torque will be maximum and when will the torque will be minimum. So before discussing the topics, let me be aside and you can take a screenshot for your reference, and then I will proceed. Hope that you are done with the screenshot, but let me explain you some things again. Like this, let this say the total the electric field is uniform and dipole is placed as AB, have a length d there, and negative half at point A and the positive charge at point B, and the total force, the total Coulombic force will be equal to 0. So we will have to consider a rotational force or torque in a sense, or the moment of couple. And this is the coupling force in tau, which is equal to the magnitude of one of the forces into perpendicular distance between the lines of action of the forces. Okay, and this is the QE cross BC there. Then Q is equal to d sine of theta, and again QD represents dipole moment. So I can write P instead of QD there. So tau is equal to EP sine of theta, which is the magnitude form of torque. And vector form, for the vector form we use the extension of sine theta could be represented in sense of cross product here. So tau vector is equal to E vector cross P vector, and having a unit of Newton meter there. Okay, so we need this workspace because we have to consider only two cases. Okay, first of all we should talk about for the maximum torque. For maximum torque, theta must be equals to 90 degrees, so that sine of theta equals to 1. Okay, we will use the magnitude form again. So what should be the value here? Saying tau will be equals to PE, and this is the maximum value. Let's say this is the tau maximum. For the second case, for minimum torque, theta would be 0, and then sine of theta will be equals to 0 again, or if it is considered the negative half, then it should be the pi, but we do not need to go through that representation here. So tau will be equals to 0, which is the tau minimum here. Okay, so we got these two values, and if you have these two answers, then your answer is complete, and this is what you are subjected to calculate yourself. So when the theta is equals to 90 degree, it means that this is the position, saying this is the position, that it means that according to this field, the dipole must have this direction. But for the minimum torque, this is for the maxima, and for minima, the direction, the value of this, how does this dipole get placed? The dipole should get placed in this position. Yes, making an angle 0 degree. So this will be the minima of the torque here. Okay, so I hope that you got the answer here. You can take a screenshot for this particular reference, but I don't think so that you need it any longer. So let me clear this off, and let's proceed for another one expression or another example for this kind of explanation. Now this is for the uniform case. What if the field in which you have placed your dipole is non-uniform? So let's calculate it also. But before going to the non-uniform field, first I think that we should discuss the potential value. Yes, we should also calculate the potential for this dipole within this uniform electric field, and then we will proceed for the non-uniform electric field. Okay, so I got one more case here saying the work done in rotating the dipole. Well, if we have a dipole and we have rotated something, that some kind of that, if I would like to push you or pull you in a sense, and if someone rotate anything, that if I am rotating this marker for your reference, then you will notice that some kind of work is to be done for this. So similarly, when an electric dipole is being rotated by an electric field, either it is uniform or non-uniform, Well, we are talking about the uniform electric field yet. Yes, we are talking about only the uniform electric field by now. We will talk about non-uniform electric field after this example. One more example to go, then we will go for this. Okay. So some work is to be done in rotating the dipole. So what kind of work is to be done? Let's say this is represented by W, and W will symbolize from the position. Let's say the initial position you say is theta 1 and the final position you say is theta 2, and torque is the force, then this is equals to tau d theta, because simply the work done is represented by the force into displacement. Yes, work done W is equals to the integration of F dot dl, that is the exact formula. So the force here is in the form of torque there, and the displacement is in the form of theta, because here the displacement is an angular displacement, and for angular displacement we use the symbol like the theta here, d theta, and let's the initial angle here is theta 1 and the final angle is theta 2, and so in that case we are assuming this, and let's find out what's the value will lead us. So putting tau is equals to Pe sin of theta, then W will be equals to the integration from theta 1 to theta 2 Pe sin of theta d theta. Well, Pe is a constant here because P and D both of them do not have a component of theta, so that should be written outside of the integration. We can say that Pe theta 1 to theta 2, this is the sin of theta d theta. So Pe is again constant, and sin theta can be said, the integration of sin theta will be equals to the negative of cos of theta, negative of cos of theta, and the lower limit for theta is theta 1 and the upper limit is theta 2. So solving this, we will have Pe into cos of theta 1 minus cos of theta 2. Yes, cos of theta 1 minus cos of theta 2 here. This is the total work done W in this sense. But if rotating the dipole, let's say that initially the dipole is at 0 degree, let's say the dipole is parallel, and then we are rotating it to the maximum value. Let's say initially the dipole is in this condition, but we are keep on rotating, and let's say we got the final position. Let's say this is our final position. So initially the angle is 0 degree, but finally the angle is reached to 90 degrees. So it means that theta 1 is 0 degree and theta 2 is equals to 90 degree. This is a case is to be considered. Let's say this is the first case. If dipole has theta 1 is equals to 0 degree and theta 2 is equals to 90 degree, means the initial and final position. So the work done, let's say the work done W will be equals to. So what should be the work done here? The work done is maximum or minimum? Let's find out if the work done is maximum or minimum. Well, this time the work done should be minimum because theta is equals to 0 degree initially, but let's calculate here. Cos of 0 degree minus cos of 90 degree. So you will have the value Pe here. This is the W. The work done is equals to Pe here. Okay. Now for the second case, if the dipole initially has the position 90 degree, if the dipole has the position saying theta 1 is equals to 0 degree, but get rotated in the position saying that theta 2 is equals to 180 degree. If dipole has theta 1 is equals to 0 degree and theta 2 is equals to 180 degree. It means that initially the dipole has this state, let's say this is AB here, and it is being rotated in such a way that it becomes BA in a sense. So it means the rotation is about 180 degree. So let's find out what should be the work is to be done in this case. This is the Pe cos of 0 degree minus cos of 180 degree. Well, this time W is equals to 2 Pe. Yes, this time because cos of 0